How's it going, everyone? Tugi here, back again with some more NHL 16 and the return of my Hockey Ultimate Team series. This is officially the start of the Hat Trick Challenge. We'll start off first by simply explaining the rules, and it's not the most complicated series in the world, but it should suffice for my first series. As you can see on the right, we have an upgrade and a downgrade system here for this series. A win equals 1 upgrade, a shutout equals 1 upgrade, the first star also equals an upgrade, and the hat trick name doesn't come from a player actually getting a hat trick in game, it comes from this upgrade system. If we get all three, if we get a win, if we get a shutout, and we get the first star of the game, that is a hat trick. We get all 3 upgrades and an extra upgrade, so 4 upgrades in total. However, to add to the challenge of this series, there is the downgrade system to counteract this, and it goes just as you think. If we lose the game, it's a downgrade. If we get shut out, it's a downgrade, and so on and so forth. The hat trick also applies to downgrades. Now, when I say upgrade or downgrade, mainly what I'm going to be focusing on is player overall. So as you'll see with my starting team, it's a very shitty bronze team. When I say upgrade, that doesn't mean, oh, I'm going from shitty WHL player to having middle-of-the-road NHL player. No, it's a 1 overall point upgrade. So I can go from a 67 to a 68. However, I can also, depending on how many upgrades I get, allocate those upgrades in different ways. I could focus on one player. Say I get the hat trick, so I have 4 points to use. I have a 66 overall goalie. I could put all 4 points into him and boost him up to a 70 or change him out with a 70 overall goalie. Or I could use each point and do a 1 point upgrade on 4 different players. I could do 3 points on one of my right wings and 1 point on one of my left defensemen. Plenty of options and plenty of ways to upgrade this team. The second thing you will notice in the rules is this is a pack-only road to glory. We will not be buying any players off the transfer market. Now, in order to get a nice head start on the series, I've done a lot of collections. That's going to be another way I do get packs. However, I am setting the rule I can only open 1 pack before each game. So if I do a collection and get 6 packs, I can't open all 6 and then use all of those players to boost up my team for that next game. And again, any player pulled from those packs has to play at least the next game, regardless of overall. So if we're still struggling with the bronze team and we pull a Steven Stamkos, Stamkos is going to be inserted into this lineup for at least the next game. And for the record, we will not be buying packs either. So essentially these packs are going to be coming from the free packs and the collections only. And the last thing to note, eventually we're going to hit a roadblock where I'm not going to be able to upgrade a certain player in a certain position. If that is the case, I will take the opportunity to optimize that position. Meaning, say there's a right wing, he's a higher overall, but I don't necessarily like him. I can pick any other right wing that I have already used or that I have already earned an upgrade point past. So say there's an 84 overall right wing who's not necessarily working out, I can pick now an 82 overall right wing and put him into the lineup instead. So now that we got the rules out of the way, I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, you'll hear me mention it later on in this episode, but let's take a look at the team. So here it is. Here is the starting team for the Hat Trick Challenge. Now, of course, I've had 3 previous episodes, and I really kind of use those episodes to show you guys what I can do with just an average NHL team. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best player in the world, but in previous years, you know, getting to Division 1, not a problem, not needing the best team to do so. So really, I'm going to essentially handicap myself by using a team that is this poor. You know, say what you want about the guy in the last episode, I outshot 50-something to 2. Fact remains, you still have to be a decent player to do that, no matter how bad your opponent is. So really quick, let's take a look at the team. The first line is an all WHL line. The second line is predominantly OHL. The center is a QMJHL player on the Halifax Mooseheads. Third line is predominantly QMJHL. The right winger is an OHL player. He is the outlier. And the fourth line is a mix of all 3 leagues. So we don't necessarily have tremendous chemistry. We don't necessarily have clearly the best players, but I do want to try and get it to the point where we have a line from each 3 leagues to just help out with chemistry. Kind of cheated a little bit with the WHL line, but these are also the 3 worst players on my roster. We'll take a look at the defense now, and as you can see, it is not much better. We have a OHL first line pairing, an OHL second line pairing, and a third line pairing. It's a mixed bag between a WHL defender and an OHL defender. We have 2 66 overall goaltenders, 1 from the W and 1 from the O. So there you go, guys. The stage is set. The Hat Trick Challenge is ready to begin. I'm extremely anxious to see how this is going to go. I don't like losing to begin with, so handicapping myself with a bad team like this should be interesting. But let's get into our first game and see how we can do. So here we go, our first game. It starts off relatively well, and then the wheels fall off. I'm not really going to recap what happens on screen. I'm going to talk about more just in general how this was the most frustrating game I have ever played of any online game ever. It's a combination of the game not being great. Yeah, that's right, I'm blaming the game. Hate me if you want to, call me a loser if you want to. But it's a combination between the game not being great, the AI being generally horrible, and then the fact that bronze teams aren't as capable of being competitive in NHL as they are in FIFA. So really this was just a miserable game where pretty much everything he shot went in, and we lose 7-1. Alright, so after the most frustrating game I've ever played, I've never gotten that pissed off or raged that hard in a game in my life. Obviously I didn't bother to show you the entire game, but changes are going to be made to the series already. Call it a cop-out if you want, but the bottom line is this game is not programmed properly, and yes, I'm blaming the game. Hate on me if you want. But this game, unlike in FIFA, where it's possible to have success with a bronze team, odds are it's not going to happen, at least with that poor of a bronze team, regardless of who you are. No offense to my opponent, I play him with a decent NHL team. It's a completely different story. So to make this series somewhat fun for myself, I'm not just going to sit here and go through that every time. Be thankful it wasn't a live commentary, I'll say that much. But regardless, we're moving on, we're making changes. This is the new team. It is still a bronze team, but it's a better bronze team. Now the first thing you'll notice is Jake Virtanen's boosted. He is mine. I originally boosted him when I played a friend. The number 2 owner, I was trading and collecting with a friend, but he is my original card. So he's going to be boosted for 1 game, but whatever, so be it. He's on a line with Nicholas Patan and Pavel Padakin. Pavel or Pablo? It's Pavel Padakin. Second line, Michael Del Call, Mitch Marner, and Sergei Tolchinsky. Third line, Nikolai Ehlers, Cameron Darcy, and Timo Meyer. Fourth line is Carroll, Chase DeLeo, and Lang from the Calgary Hitmen. On defense, not too great, but certainly better than what we had. We have Joe Hicketts and Justin Hamannik, Kurakudo and Jordan Subban, Beauregard and Frazier. And in net, as you can see, our starting goaltender is Austin Lotz with Guindon as our backup. So again, this is not what I planned on doing. I did plan on doing the shit bronze team first, but bottom line is I don't have that level of patience. Simply put, I might have shown it in the clips. I don't know. I haven't even edited the clip that I just recorded. I just want to play another game and get that game out of my memory, at least to the point of editing. But when you have players, and everybody knows this, the strategies do nothing, so the players do whatever they want. No penalties for spamming. And basically my complaints about the first game and why I'm changing the series, go and watch my my early NHL 16 rant video and the follow-up, because that first game was full of those plays. But regardless, let's get into another game and hope by the end of it I don't feel like jumping off a bridge. So here we go, the second and final game of this return episode of the Hat Trick Challenge, and thankfully this game goes just a little bit better than the first one. Of course, it wasn't, again, my intentions to have this be the case and to have this first episode go this way, but it does. You see Mitch Marner picks the puck up on the sideboards and hits Sergei Tolchinsky. He gets technically what I'm going to consider the first goal of this series. We get another great chance here for Carroll, who somehow hits the post and it doesn't go in. Another chance coming up. Joe Hicketts to Tolchinsky off the mask. Here we get a nice play down the boards, a good cross crease, but a save by Cam Ward. We somehow maintain the puck on the sideboards and walk it in and tuck it 5-hole with Nicholas Patan. A great goal. And a typical strategy of mine to set up the cross creases and then right when you least expect it, actually walk it in to get the goal. So a nice goal for Patan, puts us up 2-0, but I'll give my opponent some credit. He ends up getting back into the game. A set of terrible turnovers. He ends up taking the puck behind the net. I chased when I shouldn't have. It doesn't help my computer also chased. He ends up getting a cross crease. It's 2-1, and he was not done from there, as somehow he gets that deke move to go through and finishes on the backhand to tie this game at 2 apiece. Not to be outdone, however, we get a big save by Lots there on one end and play the transition game. It's something I love to do in FIFA and something we used and I did use effectively in this game as well. Patan battling and once again just steps into the middle. Fortunate to hold on to the puck, but another nice goal for Nicholas Patan. And here, a big save by Cam Ward. And this is something my opponent was doing all game, just repeatedly calling out. He got bailed out time and time again. Legitimately, I wanted to show every time he called it out and didn't pay for it. 17 different times throughout the game. So that is a little bit frustrating, especially, you know, when I myself don't like to call the puck out. I don't like to risk the goal. But hey, if you don't get burned for it, why not? We get a nice power play opportunity here. And right off the face-off, Nikolai Ehlers to Sergei Tolchinsky, his second goal of the game. And that would be it, guys. It's a 4-2 victory, a much better start, a much more competitive game, because thankfully I actually had the players to be able to be competitive. Not to say there still weren't some issues. Yes, they're high overall bronze cards, but they are still bronze cards. So we get the win, we extend our record to 3-1 and guarantee ourselves promotion into Division 9. As you can see, a quick look at the game stats there. 20 more shots, a little bit more time on attack. I actually struggled on face-offs. I am going to chalk that up as well to the fact that we have bronze cards, unlike in EASHL, where just, you know, everyone has the same stat as a face-off man. And there you get a look at the 3 stars, and the first man on this team to get the first star of the game is Nicholas Patan. So, what I'm going to do to make this fair, in the first game, technically we would have had 2 downgrades. In this game, technically we would have had 2 upgrades. So I'm just going to call it a wash and use this opportunity to hopefully get some feedback from you guys on what you think of the series and maybe some changes and tweaks I can make. Is it a decent idea? Is it a good idea to have gone with the better bronze team? Again, for my sanity, I think it was a decent choice, and for the fun factor with this series, because honestly, unless I ended up playing someone really bad, I don't think the terrible bronze team was going to work, simply due to the matchmaking factor of getting paired up against someone who has Eric Lindros as his top line center. So that will do it for this episode. Again, in the comments below, let me know what you think thus far. Any suggestions, any feedback, any ideas in general are more than welcome. Leave a like if you've enjoyed this episode. Subscribe if you've really liked it. It is very much appreciated. Share with your friends. That is also extremely appreciated. And I will catch you all next time.